Welcome back to Africa Science Focus, the science show from SciDevNet. I'm Ogechi Ekeanyao. This week, we launch our Science Explained series, and what we do is simplify complex science topics and make science accessible and functional for non-experts. Today, we're going to be talking about findings of a study by researchers in Makerere University. 2 years ago, researchers found that some chicken feed in Uganda contained traces of the antiretroviral drug Efavirenz, which is used to treat HIV and AIDS. Our reporter, Halima Athumani, spoke to the lead researcher of the study, Dr. Hussein Oria, to explain the implications of adding antiretroviral drugs to chicken feed.
This research was about looking for antiretroviral medicines in farm animals. And why did we pick interest in that study? Because there are media reports about misuse of ARVs in farm animals. So other people had done work in pigs, so then I chose poultry. So I looked at ARVs in farm chicken. So that is what we did. And so we know medicines, the ARV medicines have helped people improve their life. Health outcomes have improved because of use of antiretroviral therapy in people who live with HIV/AIDS. And so these medicines are very vital for this group of patients. They're life-saving and they're used for life. And these medicines are very costly to procure for our people. And so whatever is available should be used for the right use. So when we got media reports that there's a misuse of ARVs in farm animals, we got concerned. We wanted to confirm, is there really misuse? So we did two things. We did a qualitative bit and quantitative bit. For the quantitative bit, we got chicken tissue samples from the farms and then also chicken feed samples from the town that surround those farms. So then we analyzed the content of ARVs in the farm animals, in the farm chicken. For the farm tissue, we got a presence of Efavirenz in 13% of the samples. And then for the chicken feeds, we got 3% presence of Efavirenz. Why did we choose Efavirenz? Because initially, they use tenofovir, lamivudine, and Efavirenz to treat HIV/AIDS patients as first-line medication. Of course, now there has been a change. Efavirenz has been replaced by other drugs. But by the time of the study, Efavirenz was still part of the first-line treatment. And so the fact that we found presence of Efavirenz in the farm chicken shows that probably the other two components, tenofovir and lamivudine, could also be present. And so the fact that we got presence of Efavirenz in some of these samples, it means that there's misuse of these drugs in farm chicken. So that is our conclusion that we made. And so we stressed the fact that there's need to sensitize farmers on rational medicines use. The medicines that are meant for human consumption should be used in human beings, and those that are meant for animals should be used for animal health.
Dr. Oria, lead researcher at the Department of Pharmacy at the Makerere School of Health Sciences, said the use of this drug is a serious concern because Efavirenz is not approved for use in animals. As part of his research, Hussein spoke to poultry farmers to find out why they were feeding ARVs to their chickens.
Yeah, we actually inquired from the farmers why they are using these medicines. Because just like these other players have told you, one of the reasons they told us is quick economic gain. Because once animals gain weight quickly, then they can enter the market faster, and so they get quicker returns. So ideally, broilers, the vets tell you it takes about 6 weeks. But you see, within 4 weeks, these guys are able to go to the market. But also, they told us that one farmer actually said, what ARVs do to humans, they can also do to animals. You see, when people are emaciated because of HIV infection, now when they start on treatment, they gain back their weight. So these guys told us they actually use similar knowledge. That they want their chicken to fatten quickly. And so as they fatten quickly, they gain weight, and then they told us it's good for them because they easily penetrate the market and make their quick sales. So their cardinal reason was economic gain from this.
And during your research, were you able to know how much was being added in the feed to the chicken?
We didn't get that information, but they're just telling us they'll put a few tablets in water. Then around in the farms the chicken take that water. So the water they take, they put ARVs in the water. That's what they told us.
I don't know from your research if you're able to maybe tell the difference between a chicken that consumes ARVs and one that does not.
It's difficult to know which chicken was given ARVs or which one was not given, unless you do a lab work to identify the ARVs in the samples.
I had a very interesting response from one of the people that I spoke to, and he said, if it's making the chicken fat, we actually want to eat fat chicken.
Well, people like to eat fat things, but the fattening is really not to make it more delicious. It has other reasons. The fattening has other reasons. It's not that they want to make it good for the consumer, really. It's for their own economic gain. It's not for the consumer, really. Because why would you get traces of ARVs in the tissue? You see, one of the media houses called and said, but you see, these guys are saying they cook this chicken with a high temperature, and so the ARVs will be destroyed. So I told him, you see, one of the reasons why drugs have expiry dates is because the reason how they say the expiry dates is because natural drugs will deteriorate with storage, with the exposure to different temperature conditions. They'll deteriorate. So when they reach a certain percentage, that's when they set the expiry date. Why do they set the expiry date? Because they don't want very many of the degradants. Because when there's degradation, you get other products which you call degradants. So some of those products are very toxic, and that's why they set a certain limit, 95% for most medicines. Others are much higher. So if they don't want drugs to degrade below 95%, and that's why they set expiry dates. What does that mean? It means that even if you hit the medicines in the tissue, you're going to cause massive degradation. You are not sure of the products that are being formed. Some may be very toxic. So it is not just wise to say that we're using high temperature to disintegrate these molecules. Once molecules disintegrate, they become more toxic. And that's more dangerous than taking the whole medicine as it were before degradation. Yeah, so you don't want people to be exposed to those conditions. So as I said earlier, the bottom line is we must do the right things so that we safeguard the health of our people and of our animals.
And what does this mean for us as consumers? Many people love chicken. We are getting into the festive season. Chicken is going to be selling like, hot chicken. What does this mean for us?
Not only for the consumers, really, because when the journalist picked up this story and it was all over the media, the big players in poultry actually contacted us, and they contacted also the media houses, telling them these tests are not confirmatory because it was going to affect their sales. Why? Because naturally people don't want to get exposed to medicines that they're not supposed to use. So if chicken or food samples have traces of these medicines, naturally some people would want to stay away. So in that way, it will affect the business performance of these big players because people will turn away from consuming these animals. But not all is lost, because you see, ours was to create awareness and provide data so that we take steps to mitigate this misuse. So it's now, I think, an advantage for the poultry farmers to sensitize their association members so that the misuse is mitigated. But also, people must be told about rational medicines use, because you must use the right medicines for the right conditions, for the right patient, the right dose, So once we do that, once we rationally use medicines, I think all these will die out. So the study, yes, it scares people a bit, but it also gives people opportunity to improve on good practices. So as I said earlier, the bottom line is we must do the right things so that we safeguard the health of our people and our animals.
Next, we spoke to Dr. Nelson Musoba, the head of the Uganda AIDS Commission. Dr. Musoba talks to us about the potential health risks of consuming chickens that have been fed ARVs.
Of course, every time you're being exposed to these molecules when you shouldn't, is not good. It's problematic in itself. It is for you to be exposed to them. Time might come when you need them, and because of this exposure, maybe they won't work. That is the number one risk. But the second risk is that you are unnecessarily, every time we take in, whether it is food or drugs or anything, your body goes to work to eliminate this, your liver, your kidneys. So you're putting your body system under extra strain. So it's not good for human health to consume anything you shouldn't be consuming. So it is unsafe for your health. It's also unsafe for the health of the animals.
And I'm thinking this is a drug. We have different types of drugs for HIV. In the event that the people who are HIV positive taking a different line of drugs and then they have this, what could be the impact?
I can respond specifically to that once we've gone deeper, because one of the drugs that the studies were quoting is actually not the commonly used one. So I think for Ugandans for now, once we've done a deeper investigation, we'll be able to share information how risky this is, but we'll also work with the Ministry of Health to ensure that we sensitize the population and the farmers about the dangers of using the drugs. But for now, given the size of the samples of the studies that were done, I wouldn't be very worried. Doesn't show that the problem is of a huge magnitude and it is deep. But we have analyzed the statistics, and in our statement that we will issue, we will comment also on the sample sizes and why it's not so worrying for now, but it's of concern because it's a public health issue.
Halima also reached out to the poultry farmers to hear what they feel about the results of this research. She spoke to Irumba Alzan, who has been a poultry farmer for 7 years. Alzan talked about the challenges of raising chickens for meat in Uganda.
Every job has a challenging side of it. And I would say on poultry, it comes to feed. That is where I find a challenge. And concentrate, different concentrates farmers use in feeding poultry. And they're expensive. These days, when it comes to maize, these days maize prices are rising every now and then. And the cost rate, they're also the same. Because right now it may be like 220, and then the next day you find 222. The other day you find 233. So it depends on the price. The prices of concentrates and generally the feeds are not stable. They keep rising just like that.
Okay, so in the past few weeks we've heard about the news or research done by researchers from Makerere University that farmers in Wakiso district are feeding their chicken antiretroviral drugs. You've already told us about how feeds and concentrates are very expensive. Did you hear about the research, and is this true by any chance?
Yes, I heard about the research, and I would say it is true or it's not true, because since that I'm a farmer and I'm in poultry, farmers do whatever it takes to get profits out of the business. So to me, I would say, or I would ask myself, if it is true that they're using ARVs, where do those farmers getting the ARVs from? That is question number one. And how much could it be? That's maybe what I would say, that how much could ARVs be that given to birds? Because most farmers raise birds from 500 and above. Yeah. There is also that. You ask yourself, where do farmers getting those ARVs from? It means farmers are colliding with these people who sells ARVs in the hospital.
In other words, if someone is giving ARVs to their chicken, and most farmers, like you say, they start with about 500 and above the number of birds that they rear. This means they actually need a lot of ARVs to feed the chicken, right?
Yes. Of course, yes. Because if a farmer is raising a bird, if a farmer is having 500 birds, it means that farmer needs a lot of ARVs to feed those birds, to suit in the kilograms that farmer wants it to be sold. Yeah, it means the more ARVs, and then the more birds, the more ARVs.
Is there a way to make chicken feed more nutritional for these chicken? Because I'm thinking that, as a chicken farmer, when you want to sell your chicken, you want to sell it at a certain weight, probably. Can you just walk us through what exactly when a farmer is rearing chicken for sale? What do they look at when they want to sell the market? What do they push for the most?
Weight. We look at weight. In broilers, most people look at weight, and the buyers also look for weight. If you don't have enough weight, it means you're not going to sell that bird at exact money you want it. Let me say, if you have 10 birds, you need 33 kilograms of these other normal concentrates. And those birds, it means they have to feed up to 35 or 36 weeks to get like 1.8. But these days, you find that most farmers are feeding at, let me say, like 10 birds. They are feeding them, and then at specific periods, they're having 2.8, which is not normal. Just to say, when you're using these normal concentrates.
So was this study a shocker for you who does not use ARVs to feed your chicken?
To me, when I heard about it at first, it was so hurting, because for us we struggle feeding the feeds on normal concentrate, yet others are using their bypasses. I'll call it bypasses to gain the weight and then sell so quickly. But again, I would say, and I keep asking myself, because things in this world, everything is possible, And if you want profits, of course you could do anything you want to have what you want. So I will not say no, and I will not say yes. But to me, I don't use them. I use these normal concentrates, but to them, I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it.
Stanley Ndawula, a restaurant owner with a poultry farming background, often has to decide where to source his chicken. He spoke to us about his business and the importance of sourcing good food.
The reason we went organic is because we believe in health first. So when you read about what these are the oils do to human body, things like that, you feel like, and at my age even, I would love to be served food the way my mother used to do it. That's why you find us having katunkuma and whatever, dodo, in almost all our meals we serve that stuff. So it is, we are worried, but I'm this person who doesn't worry about things I have no control over, but doesn't stop you from worrying. So we are a restaurant for purely organic foods. We steam our food, we roast it, we don't fry it. We take extra care of what we feed them. So we normally have a contract signed with our suppliers. And in particular, with the broilers, we have two suppliers. We used to have them from markets, but again, we didn't. The quality it would compromise our quality. because we do 1.8, not less than 1.8 kgs or 1.8 to kgs. So you can hardly find it on a daily basis in our markets. If you have to spend a lot on transport, jumping from one market to another. So we signed with the suppliers mainly.
And because you mainly focus on the quality of this chicken, have you had, and I think because of this is why you decided to get suppliers who have to ensure that, they bring for you chicken at particular times and whenever you need them so that you do not run out. Have you ever bothered to ask yourself, what do my suppliers feed the chicken they bring to me?
Honestly, I can say I bother, and sometimes I may not. Because first of all, one of the reasons I decided to use suppliers, especially because we were not supposed to do broilers, but you cannot do away with them when it comes to roasts, because you cannot roast a local bird. But much as we needed that quality, when you hear stories and see overweighing broilers, you start wondering. And then there are those, some people even advertise that a bird can be ready in 1-2 months. For me, I have a background of poultry keeping at our home. It was a family business, and I was the manager of that. So I have an idea what chicken broilers have to feed on, and I don't feel comfortable with a bird growing in less than 3 months, because I know some of the ingredients. So when you find a bird said to have grown to a desired weight in weeks, you have all the reasons to worry.
One of Stanley's patrons is Katende Isaac Daniels. He spoke to us about how he feels about the study's findings.
I come here to eat food. They have a very good local food, the fish, the chicken, and that's why I come here basically. It's made like our local way, Luombo. Yeah.
So recently we got news about, poultry farmers adding an HIV drug onto the feed that they give their chicken. When you saw have you ever seen it? Have you ever had?
I read it in the newspapers recently. I saw it. I think it was in Monitor or New Vision. They ran that story. They were saying people are feeding chicken now with what? With
called Efavirenz.
Yeah, that's where I got lost from. Okay, what most people who are translating it, the ones who are doing newspaper reviews, they were saying they are feeding chicken with HIV drugs. Yes. So, but most people, I think most people have not really cared, including me, because, I don't know so much about the HIV drug, but one thing we've come to know is that, the assumption we have, because as a journalist, I don't want to say that's how it is, but people say people who are living on those HIV drugs, they become fat because of them. So we have the assumption that, if they can make a human being fat, why not a chicken? And we want to eat fat chicken. So personally, I have not been bothered to that extent because, here at Yaya, it's a place we trust the owner and, all those things. So it's really not crossed our minds like that. But at the back of my mind, I'm like, we grow if the drug can make a human being fat and it helps prolong a human being's life, then what is wrong with it being in the chicken? You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the scientists, I think their argument is that why this should be wrong is because in the event that someone eventually gets HIV, by the time you start probably using some of these drugs that the poultry farmers are using, then you become resistant.
That is true, but in Africa, we are firm believers that there is a special way God loves us. He will take care of that. That is the belief we have, because there are so many things we are facing here. And when you read what scientists say, vis-a-vis what we are going through, we could all be dead by now.
Farmers feed ARVs to their chickens to get them to grow faster. But where do the farmers get these ARVs from? We're going back to Hussein to discuss this.
That was one of the key questions we asked the farmers. And they said, where do you get these medicines from? How do you access them? They told us, first of all, from the health facilities, some of them access these medicines. They buy from the people who handle these medicines in the different health facilities in the country. That's one. Two, some of them said, you see, you can have one HIV/AIDS patient who registers in multiple health facilities. So he gets an excess stock that he doesn't need. So what does he do with it? Can dispose of to a farmer who needs it. Three, some HIV patients who die and they have stock of medicines. That medicine is never returned to the health facility. It's medicine that's lying there that no one is using. So if a farmer comes and inquires whether this guy left medicines, he can easily access because no one is following up these things up. So these are the three key sources of these ARVs. So then what did we recommend? First of all, we said we must be able to trace all the HIV/AIDS patients. There must be some biometric tracing. They must have biometric data about all these HIV patients, so that when you register in Health Center A and get your supply there, when you go to Health Center B, you'll be known that it will be known that you actually received your medications already. I think the government is trying to implement that now, because all patients are now traceable. You cannot go to a health facility A and get stock, and then go to another health facility B and want to get stock, because the system will know that you've got a stock from facility A. So in that way, we're going to control that part of misuse. But also within the health facility, there must be good stock control of these ARV medicines, or general of all medicines in the health facility, so that we're able to trace which patient received which medication and for what duration of time, so that once the integrity of the supply chain within the health facilities is controlled, then we can also control the misuse at that level. Because remember, when these guys told us sometimes they get it from the health facility people who supply the medicines. So we need to control the supply of these medicines within the health facility. Then also we should be able to trace our patients in their homes. There must be patient tracing. We must make deliberate efforts to trace patients. So that, one, why do we trace patients? First of all, we want to make sure that the medicines they're taking are actually making an impact in their life, a positive impact in their life. But also, two, assuming unfortunately somebody dies, we're able to get back these medicines to the center so that we avoid this kind of misuse.
That's all from us at Science Explained today. If you want to find out more, head to the SciDevNet website. That's www.scidev.net. Today's show was produced by Alice Hurst, with editing and hosting by me, Ogechi Ekeanyao, and reporting by Halima Athumani. Until next time, goodbye. Africa Science Focus is produced by SciDevNet and distributed in association with your local radio station.